that has made me remind a story from you I like very much, the pure product.
Pure product. Yes. Yes.
Moral dilemma.
Yes.
Well, I'm not a writer, but I write, and that story, the vertigo the character has in
the end of the story,
in himself, in the story, inspired me to write a very different story, but with that a character that has that speed on him to make things. So please tell us about the poor
impulse.
The impulse was that.
Actually, that's funny that you mentioned that story, because that was the first story I ever wrote where I felt like I had grasped hold of something that really fascinated me or intrigued me. And the character is so, he is driven, but he also does many evil things, okay, in the story, and yet you wonder why he does them, and he's, what was driving him was something actually that was hard for me to figure out when I was writing it. I first wrote that story in 1972. It's one of the oldest. It's the oldest story I ever wrote that actually got published, and then it didn't get published right away, and I had to rewrite it for 14 years. It didn't come out till 1986. So all that time I had this character and the situation of driving and doing these violent things, and what was driving him and why, and what the implications were. It was something I had to work out over a long period of time. But it was something in it. I think that it's because, I don't know how it is for you, but sometimes when you look at the world, you feel that you get very angry. You feel that it's not. There's a African writer named Chinua Achebe, and he said somewhere that the world is not well arranged. The way it's set up is not fair. It's not fair for lots of people. Lots of people get neglected, hurt, stomped on, persecuted, and it just seems like that's the nature of things. And it's not. If you think about that too much, it drives you crazy. If you can get very angry. And then so what do you do about it?
What do you do about it?
I mean, sometimes some of you ignore it. You drink a lot of alcohol. You are a reformer. You're a rebel. You're I don't know what you are, but there are different ways to think about how you deal with the world, and I think that's actually a problem that everyone has to face. I mean, if you're really poor and you're struggling, all you can have time to worry about is get enough food for yourself and your family, survive. But then if you're more privileged, like we are, then how are you supposed to live? It's a hard question, because you also don't want to. I mean, some people spend their whole lives. I mean, someone like Mother Teresa, she goes out and spends her whole life trying to change things or do things. But most of us, I don't think, can do that. Or maybe we are not brave enough or selfless enough. So how do you live? I mean, what is legitimate? These are questions I don't have any answers for. I think that in my stories they do come up at various times. Sometimes the stories are more about the personal lives of the characters. Other times they're more about the larger political issues of the world. So.
And returning to the Invader, have you wrote any other story related to South America, our story, our history?
Yes, I don't know that I have. I wish I had more knowledge of South America, and I think one thing is I'm not from South America, and I feel sometimes if I write about a place I don't know that it's not I don't have the right to do that, okay? Because for one thing, I'll get it wrong, okay? I'll make a fool of myself, but also I could also offend the people who live there and know it much better than I do.
That has happened.
Yes.
That usually happens.
Yeah, so I'm pretty aware of that, so I don't want to do that if I can avoid it. The only kind of character I could have in South America would be a foreigner, a North American who comes, and he would be just as ignorant as I am.
Is your view, like Paulo Bacigalupi did in Wind Up Girl?
Yes.
That's his view because he is an American, but he lived some time in Thailand, so he knows the culture, not from inside, but from the eyes of
Well, I think that's the best way to do it, because otherwise you're going to seem like you're appropriating something you don't really own.
I have a light question about invaders.
Okay.
I really loved these alien characters.
Yes.
This story is a parallel between the invasion of the Spaniards to the Incas and invaders from outer space, the world. But these invaders were goofy looking, and they were dressed as Flash. The Flash, this science fiction,
from the comics,
the superhero comic character. And I don't know how, but that made so much sense. That they were goofy, that they looked like dressing in costume, like the new superhero movies that are coming, like Super and what's the other one?
The Green Lantern, things like that. Or what I was doing there, since the story of the Inca conquest was so serious and so dark, I thought I don't want to have the same tone in the future, because if I do the same, it's going to be too much. So I thought I'd make the future thing goofy and absurd and almost comical. And so I thought also the aliens should seem like they're not threatening. They should seem like they're just goofy, even though they are threatening. The Spaniards did not seem goofy to the Inca, I don't think. But to the humans of the future, they think these aliens they're not very smart, or they're goofy. We don't know. They dress like Flash. What is that about? So why they dress like Flash? I thought that was just a goofy thing I thought of, and I thought, well, maybe they receive transmissions from Earth or our culture, and they have decided to dress that way, or maybe they're doing that to make fun of us, okay, and we don't even get it. They're mocking our absurdity. Or the other thing is that they don't we think that aliens will think just like us, and maybe they won't think like us. The way they think is very different from us. We don't think that's silly at all. So, but I wanted to have the destruction of our world in the present be done as a series of absurd scenes, one after another, where every time, and not only that, every time that the alien encounters with a person, that they play upon human weakness. Every character they meet has a human weakness. So the commodity, the investment, a Wall Street broker is greedy. Okay, and he's willing to do, he knows what he's doing is probably not a good thing for other people, but he's going to make a lot of money, so he goes along.
That's a very interesting point of view, because, well, we are living in a society where that's the model. Everybody is motivated by the money. You are successful if you make money. Decisions are, but are we really building a better world? Is that sustainable?
Well, I don't think if you measure everything by money, I think that's pathetic. And I think too much of our world does measure by money, and I don't know. I was raised pretty seriously a Catholic boy, and I took seriously a lot of things. Then I left the Catholic Church a long time ago, but many of the attitudes that I got, the social gospel and how Jesus in the Testament, he didn't own anything. He said, give away everything. If you have 2 cloaks, give both of them away. You don't just give one away. You give them both away. Who lives like that? Who can live like that? It's hard. Okay, I don't live like that.